Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the UMass Lowell Innovation Hub and our Digital Equity Challenge. My name's Stephanie Guyett. I'm the Associate Director of the UMass Lowell Innovation Hub here in Haverhill. We're really excited to have you both here physically with us in Haverhill and also online, because that's how we do things these days, right? Hybrid events are a new thing, and we have a lot of technical work happening behind the scenes, so I appreciate everybody's patience in case we have any technical difficulties tonight, but hopefully this will be a great experience for both the people who are here in this room and anybody who's watching along with us live online. So thank you all. Tonight we hope to engage you in some exciting pitches from entrepreneurs and nonprofits who have all developed unique, interesting, and important projects related to increasing digital access and literacy for their communities. For this challenge, we sought ideas around improving digital capacity. Our goal was to create community and a county where everyone has access to and the ability to use all of the digital tools available to them. At the UMass Lowell Innovation Hub, we foster ideas and support entrepreneurs and as they launch and grow their businesses. It was a natural fit to create this challenge and use entrepreneurial thinking to develop creative solutions to this county-wide problem. Thank you to the Essex County Community Foundation for being our collaborator in this program. ECCF is leading the charge on digital equity, and I'm honored to play a small role in that effort, and you'll hear a lot more about that as the evening continues. First, I want to just introduce our judges for tonight's program. We have a really wonderful panel. Raja Abdelaziz is the CEO and co-founder of Invisaware Technologies. Josh Byron is the Director of Innovation and Special Projects at the Wynn Companies. Beth Francis is the CEO and President of Essex County Community Foundation. And Marvin Vinay is the Chief Advocacy Officer of Tech Goes Home. Now, I would like to welcome our MC for tonight, my friend and colleague, Sofan Smith, who's the Executive Director for E for All and E Para Todos of the Merrimack Valley.
Thank you, Stephanie. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight? You know, that was a little weak. And if you know me, you know I'm a very energetic person, whether it's 6 in the morning or at midnight. So we're gonna start all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we feeling tonight? Much better, much better. So again, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's event. We're so excited to be able to do this in person, and to the ladies and gentlemen at home, you look very comfortable. So whether you're joining us from the living room or the kitchen, we welcome everyone, so we're so excited. So for this evening, I would like to first start off by sharing with you a little bit of what to expect for tonight. So let's make sure I do this properly. How do I work this amazing contraption here? Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, as you can see, we have some amazing presenters that's going to blow us away with their pitches. But I want to be able to share with you a little bit of just the format for tonight. We're going to hear some amazing presenters, their ideas for this digital divide. And then in between, after they pitch, we're also going to hear from our judges as well. And then after the judges ask their questions, I know, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to want to ask questions as well, but only judges are allowed to ask questions for this evening. And then after that, we're going to do what we call a commercial pitch. Just like if you were at home, you would see an advertisement, well, you're going to get to see that as advertisement in person, which is even better. So we're going to share some amazing upcoming events. You're going to hear about some fantastic organizations that's doing a lot of great work. So are we ready? Are we ready? Thank you, thank you. All right, I like the enthusiasm. So, again, let's go to the next one.
Check it out.
Oops, I apologize. All right, do I just...
It is what it is.
Well, we can show our judges again. There we go. And let's see. Am I clicking on the right side? All right. Let's keep going. Bear with me. It's just okay. Oh, go back. All right. Well, I just want to reiterate the rules one more time. So presenters, when you come on up, you will have your slides here, and then you will have exactly 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I want to keep that in mind. Not that I want you to be nervous, but 5 minutes to give us all your amazing ideas. The judges will take all of that in just, again, 5 minutes. And then judges, you will also only have 5 minutes for questions as well. I hate to rudely interrupt, but I will interrupt when the time is up. And to help us keep us all on track, we have Ren Santiago right here, and Ren's our timekeeper. So when your time is up, Ren's gonna flash that card, and if you continue talking, I will have to rudely interrupt as if like there's a mute button during the Zoom call. All right, so keep that in mind. So before we begin this evening, we have an amazing video to show you. Someone who is really a strong advocate for digital access, Senator Mache. He has championed many legislation to help close the digital divide. And unfortunately, due to his many responsibilities, he could not join us tonight. He is currently in Washington, D.C., but, whoops, oh, I'm going to the wrong. But we do have a video of Senator Mache who would like to give us a great message.
Hello, everyone. I am just so excited to welcome everyone to the Digital Equity Challenge Pitch Contest. I'm honored to join you virtually tonight, and thank you for the opportunity to participate along with our judges, contestants, and community members. The Essex County Community Foundation and UMass Lowell have done terrific work in establishing this pitch contest and shining a spotlight on the digital divide in Essex County and the Merrimack Valley. This work to promote broadband access for everyone is critically important, and I appreciate your partnership on these pressing issues. The coronavirus pandemic has highlighted more than ever how essential broadband is to the future of American education, jobs, and medical care. Yet, as many as 42 million Americans still lack access to high-speed internet service. Today, about 4 in 10 adults with incomes below $30,000 do not have home broadband service, or a desktop, or a laptop computer. By comparison, each of those technologies is nearly ubiquitous among adults in households earning $100,000 or more a year. So it's clear that the adoption gap exists because broadband is simply unaffordable for far too many lower income households, which disproportionately includes Black, brown, immigrant, rural, and other vulnerable communities. These disadvantaged populations are being denied the equalizing opportunities of broadband service in the 21st century. That is a national tragedy. And it is particularly tragic for the children in our country because across our country, 12 to 17 million students lack the home internet connectivity and devices they need to participate in distance learning or complete their homework after class. That's why I created the Emergency Connectivity Fund as part of the American Rescue Plan that President Biden signed into law in March of 2021. My program is now providing more than $7 billion for schools and libraries to connect students with the devices and internet access they need to succeed. And that includes over $65 million in funding for Massachusetts schools and libraries. However, students are not the only ones without internet connectivity. And that's why we are also making an historic $65 billion investment in both broadband access and affordability as part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act that President Joe Biden signed into law in November of 2021. And that bipartisan law invests $42.5 billion in broadband infrastructure deployment so that all of our unserved and underserved communities without high-speed internet can finally access the digital opportunities of the 21st century. It also includes $14 billion for an affordable connectivity program that will offer low-income families $30 a month to help them pay for their internet service bills. Remaining funds in the broadband package will go towards tackling the complex challenge of promoting digital equity and fostering competition. And these transformational programs and funding will bring us ever closer to finally ensuring universal connectivity. But we are not there yet. And we cannot and will not stop here. Our work is nowhere near complete. Essex County illustrates the challenges in closing the digital divide. 1 out of every 5 Essex County families lacks a basic computer. Only half of low-income residents have access to wired broadband. And these figures are even worse in cities such as Lawrence and Lynn, with a disproportionate share of low-income households and households of color. That is unacceptable. We must ensure every person in the United States has affordable access to the internet. And that's why I'm so excited about the Digital Equity Challenge and tonight's pitch contest. It marshals the innovative ideas of students and professionals to ensure that all residents of Essex County have access to affordable broadband. The apps, services, products, and programs that are presented at tonight's event represent the type of collaborative thinking that we need to make broadband accessible and affordable for everyone. I'm committed to closing the digital divide, and I know that you are setting the example, because at the community level, at the local level, nonprofits and educational institutions like Essex County Community Foundation and UMass Lowell are partnering to create a pathway to a better future, one where the digital divide is something that children will have to look to the history books to find that it ever existed at all. And we're now on that journey. You are the leaders, and I can't thank you all enough for your work on this critical issue. And good luck to everyone who is participating here today. The ideas are going to be great, and ultimately we're going to turn it all into action that fights the digital divide. Thank you all so much for everything that you are doing.
Wow, he said the presenters tonight are the leaders, so no pressure at all, presenters. So, now it's time. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right. We know that presenting is not an easy task. So when I caught, well, the first one will be virtual, but we're going to give them a big round of applause every time a presenter comes up, because we want to encourage them. It takes a lot of guts to be up here, to do it in person, also to be seen as well in the virtual world. So our very first presentation for tonight is by iHub Game Studio Series, and will be virtual. So because, see, we can accommodate to everyone. So in person and virtual. So how can we get to the virtual? Oh, right. Oh, there you go. Look at that. So hello there. Long time no see, my friend. We know each other from E for All. So Emily, when you are ready, you let us know, and Ren will start the time, and then she'll let you know how much time you have left in the end. So let us know when you're ready.
Great. Should I share my screen from my side?
We have this. We have it for you. The slides.
All right. I'm ready when you guys are.
Right. Ren's going to start the time.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Treat-Czar, and I'm a veteran game designer and game design instructor. And throughout my career, I have seen, a lot of students and worked with a lot of kids over my career, creating products for them and creating games. And I've seen how transformative the game creation process can be with children. And so next slide, please. I kind of pursued this opportunity to think about how we might use game design to introduce youth to digital technology. Next slide, please. So the target audience I am looking at is really kids of all grade levels. But the idea is that I'm trying to think about ways to introduce game design as kind of a fairly low stakes, low risk way for students to get involved in STEM careers. And so thinking of game design as a unique outlet for self-expression, a place where they can develop their identity and learn independently at their own pace is not something that really exists in a lot of the digital space right now. Most of the programming classes that students are offered and other digital kind of elements that they're offered are fairly academic and comes with some high stakes risk. So what we wanted to do was engage the students at all grade levels in the creative process of making games and offer them multiple modes and entryways of self-expression through the game design process. Our goal was to explore and showcase all the different ways that you could be interested in games as a leader and runway into the game making process, and really with the intent of giving them exposure to STEM concepts in a low risk environment. Next slide, please. So when I think of games, I think about game design as a form of self-expression, storytelling, problem solving, systems thinking, collaboration, ideation, innovation, a little bit of visual design, a little bit of hardware design, and some experience design. And all of these things together kind of come into the game making process. Next slide, please. So I started to think about how might we introduce game design in a fun and accessible way. Next slide. And so when I think about kind of bringing this to students, I often think about how we can introduce processes around the game making process and how to evolve that into something that interests them in the digital process. So we start with creating tabletop games and introducing kind of game making as a construct, and then slowly start introducing some of the different digital tools that are available and exist where they can make and publish their own games at home in the digital space. And so the idea is to use the tabletop and the handheld games to ease them into the digital space and kind of perk their interest in a lo-fi way, so that they're then getting really creative and doing the problem solving in the technical space because they've kind of had that intrinsic motivation pulling them in. Next slide, please. So the format and what we're trying to propose is a series of 6 game maker events that would essentially be targeted towards kids at different grade levels. The purpose would be to design tabletop and digital games in these events, and we would be replicating and building on the success of a couple pilot events that we've run for other age groups earlier last year and the year prior, where we basically were introducing the game making process as a means to introduce these concepts of 21st century skills and STEM concepts. The exposure to kind of the STEM concept via game making is intended to be through demos, but then also giving them a process to iterate and evolve their designs, which is a very kind of human-centered design process. The participants create and play test their game ideas with each other in the event itself, and then demos of digital tools for game making are done by the professionals and facilitators. We can theme events or bring in guest speakers for particular topics or focus on specific areas. And the intent would be that this would be free for all participants. The recent event that we did was targeted towards kids and their parents. And so we brought them all in and gave them snacks and food and made it really fun. And we would be continuing our partnership with the Haverhill iHub, where we hosted these events in the past. Next slide, please. So this is just some photos, and this might look familiar because it's in the room that you guys are in, from one of the last events that we ran. I tried my best to include photos that didn't include faces of any of our kids because I wasn't sure how comfortable they'd be with that. But I did want to showcase some of the different things that they were making and show how hands-on these activities can be. And that the idea is that these are fairly scalable. That's all I have, I guess.
All right, thank you. Round of applause, please, for iHub Game Studio Series. Our first presenter of the evening, it was virtual. So, all right, judges, now it is your turn to work. So what questions do we have for Emily? And you can start the time when the first question is asked, and please use your microphone.
Good evening, Emily. Thank you for your presentation. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
How many students will it take to see success in the next 5 years for this program?
So I think one of the things that I'm curious about scaling and trying to prove success on is that we've tried this model with middle school age kids, we've tried the model with high school age kids, and as you can see here with some younger kids. So one of the things that I'm actually interested in is seeing the scaling of this model to different grade levels and continuing to see that scale across the different age groups to demonstrate that the model can be scalable across the different age groups. In terms of individual sessions, we're looking between like 20 and 30 students per session. So over time, and if we can scale this over several years, we would be looking at hopefully hundreds and or thousands of students. But the goal would be to, again, kind of start with scaling through the different grade levels and understanding kind of how we need to tweak and modify things for the different age groups. And then really looking to kind of scale out beyond that.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I also had a chance to read the full proposal. So, question, what does success look like 2 years from now from the participant's point of view? Like, what are you hoping to achieve as an outcome from the student's perspective?
Yeah, no, so I mean, for me personally, it's getting the students excited about pursuing these more technical career paths that they might not get exposed to through their school. A great case study and example that I can use is a student that I taught at the college level. And we did some game design classes together, and he got interested in certain aspects of things. But after conversations with him and talking about which elements and which factors of the game design process he liked, it became really clear that this was a passion of his, and he actually pursued a career path in it, went to college, and recently received a scholarship in it. And so my goal would be to try to energize some of these students who maybe don't feel the appeal of STEM careers, aren't even thinking about careers, to start thinking about how they can move into that career path and pursue college and academic training in this space.
Hi, thank you. Enjoyed learning about what you've done in this presentation. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you just speak up a tiny bit?
Yes, of course. So you might have been getting to this, but it would be helpful if you could maybe speak a little bit to the use case you have here and what happened next and how it was connected or the learnings were connected and subsequently built into what you're proposing here with digital connectivity and gaming.
Yeah. So the purpose of starting with the tabletop games is kind of to move them into the space in a very creative way, so they're kind of able to get tactile, hands-on, and building things really quickly with familiar items and objects. Then over time and through the session, we talk about kind of game making tools, digital tools that exist in a parallel space. And then at the end of the session, we demo the tools and show them and kind of give them a little showcase of how they can then transform their tabletop games and their ideas that they've been prototyping and iterating on in real time into the digital space. And actually for this particular event, we were able to invite up a couple of the students who were a little bit familiar with some of the software and have them help demo it with us to both showcase to the students, but also to the parents, that these pieces of software, these tools that are for game making, many of them are built with the intent of kids using them. And so they're built to be very user-friendly and very adaptive and kind of quick to learn. And so that's an important part of my kind of transitioning them into this digital space, is showing them that it's not a huge lift to get there, that it's actually relatively easy, and there's some fun ways to start kind of trying trial and error stuff. So it's definitely the pairing of the tabletop activities and the physical items with the digital demo and kind of showcasing the connection between them.
Thank you, Emily. In college, I was the president of the Society of Women Engineers chapter, and part of our mission was to teach kids at a young age about STEM, so I really love the concept. I see that your budget was detailed to be about $10,000 for the total of the 5 to 6 workshops. Can you break that down for us? And can you also tell us a little bit more about beyond this competition, what you're doing for fundraising? Are you going to find sponsors from other companies?
Sorry, that is time. I know. See, I told you, I hate to interrupt.
I cannot and I will not. No, but
So thank you so much, Emily. Thank you. But yes, time is up. So perhaps
thank you guys
could
for letting me
email.
participate remotely. I truly appreciate it, and my new boss also really appreciates it. So thank you.
If we can go to the next slide, please. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of presenting our next speaker, Cad Mache. She is the Director of Strategic Initiatives with the Essex County Community Foundation. She's been with the organization for a little over a year, about a year and a half now, but here's the fun fact about Kate. Prior to joining ECCF, she worked for the U.S. Senate. How impressive is that? So let's welcome Ms. Cad Mache.
Thank you, Sofan. Can you all hear me? To our judges, our audience members, our entrepreneurs, and those of us joining virtually today, it's a pleasure to be with you all. I'm Cad Mache with the Essex County Community Foundation, and you know, this is right where ECCF wants to be. The partnership with UMass, Lowell Innovation Hub, and E4All has been a tremendous opportunity to see the type of innovation that is taking place right here in our communities. As we seek collaborative ways to bridge the digital divide for people living in the 34 cities and towns of Essex County. Our mission at ECCF is to inspire philanthropy that strengthens the communities of Essex County. And what better way is there to do that than by gathering all of you, innovators, entrepreneurs, community leaders, nonprofits, elected officials, and residents with lived experience to create solutions together that begin to tackle one of the greatest challenges facing our communities in a post-COVID world. ECCF believes in a systems approach for all the work we do, that by convening stakeholders across all sectors, lasting, sustainable social change is indeed possible. We believe that being inclusive of our efforts and that having an openness and willingness to learn, grow and evolve as we go little by little, neighborhood by neighborhood, town by town, city by city, can open up a world of opportunity for Essex County together. I want to take a few minutes to talk about ECCF's commitment to social change. Can we just advance to the next slide, please? And specifically, digital equity. And we'll go ahead to the next slide here. You can see from here that there's a lot of words here, so I'll break it down. That ECCF has made a commitment of $2.5 million over the next 3 years to achieve a lot of goals there in access, device, and literacy, or navigating the internet, which I'll go through in a second. But the real driver of this are the individuals and the learners behind each and every one of those numbers. And the coalition that brought us here together, which is what I'd love to start with. We met Stephanie, who's part of our coalition, which is now 90 plus strong, which we're very excited about. Actually over 100 as of today, of nonprofit, government, cross-sector partners from all across the county and growing. And that is on purpose, organic and evolving, so we can respond to the needs of the community as we hear them by, for, and from the community. And through that coalition, Stephanie came to us and said, you know what, I've been listening over the past several months to the needs of the community coming from our nonprofits, our users on the ground, our municipalities, and the innovative solutions that are coming up from all of these cross-sector organizations together. Why not harness that entrepreneurial spirit that we have right here in Essex County and use the Innovation Hub and E4All and all the expertise that we have right here in Essex County? Why not harness that? Why not incubate all of these entrepreneurs that might not know they're entrepreneurs today but will be tomorrow? So we're really excited, and thank you, Stephanie and E4All and Sofan and all of your teams and Difference Maker as well for everything that you're doing. It's fantastic. So ECCF has made a commitment to bringing access solutions along with our communities on the ground for 20,000 individuals to get access to the internet. That's not just accessing that internet, that's affordability of that line, the equity of that line. And so we look forward to continuing to foster those by, for, and from the community solutions. And 5,000 devices to individuals, and navigating the internet through our digital literacy program with Tech Goes Home, and Marvin here today from Tech Goes Home. Thank you to you and your team and for your partnership, bringing this forward and making it a reality for the ECCF, for our innovative partners on the ground and municipal leaders and those that will come tomorrow, and most importantly for the learners and what this means to them. So thank you for that. You know, the conversation doesn't end today. It's just the beginning. So we look forward to continuing the journey with all of you to learn, adopt, evolve, and listen tonight and over the next 3 years. And thank you all for your commitment to digital equity being here today, and we look forward to the coming presentations and the coming years ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kate. All right, let's move it to our second presentation for the evening. We are ready. We are so ready for this in person. All right, presenter, here's your microphone. Let's welcome to Make It Haverhill.
How about now? Okay. Great. Good evening, everyone. Hello. My name's Tim Haynes. If you could go to the next slide, or I guess I can. There we go. I am a volunteer with Make It Haverhill. I lead Make It Haverhill's digital literacy and equity programs. I was supposed to be joined by Frank Vasquez. He had an emergency come up at his work, so he couldn't be here, so I am going to cover for him. And what I'm going to talk about is our digital equity program, and specifically our affordable internet access program. So let's start here. How big is the digital equity gap? And Senator Mache referenced a study that was done by the Essex County Community Foundation, and I want to reference it here as well. So in Essex County, there's 1 in 5 households that lack a computer. That's about 160,000 people. That's a lot of people. In Haverhill, it's 1 in 4 households that lack a wired broadband connection, and that's 17,000 people. And then in the Latinx community, which is 23% of the population, it's 1 in 3 households lack broadband. And the point is that the gap is big, and it's particularly big in Haverhill. And that's why we at Make It Haverhill want to do something about that. Whoop. Can you go back 1, please? Thank you. The interesting point is that a connectivity program exists today. There is the Affordable Connectivity Program that was mentioned earlier. It's a federal program that provides $30 per month in assistance. And interestingly enough, Comcast has a service called Internet Essentials that as of January is $29.95 a month for 100 megs, which is fine for Zoom and any other video streaming that may be required. A study that was done in December found that only 12% of those households that qualify for this program actually take advantage of it in Massachusetts. And so that's the opportunity that exists. Well, why is that? Come on. Can you move me ahead 1? Thank you. So why is there this gap? And at Make It Haverhill, we are close to the community, and we're talking to them frequently, and we know the struggles that they've had. And the first point is that the speeds prior to January of 2022 were too slow. They were only 25 megabits, and if you're trying to do Zoom at home, it's not enough speed. The second point is that there is a general lack of awareness, and there's also confusion. Will I qualify? What kind of personal information are you going to ask me about my income levels or what programs I'm participating in? And that creates this lack of trust and this reluctance to really to go in and sign up for the program. The third point is that unlike these other programs, SNAP, RAFT, WIC, that have a home, like Community Action, which is an anti-poverty organization, ACP has no local home with an organization. And that's why Make It Haverhill does what it does, and we are really positioned to create that awareness and to get people to sign up for the program. We are an all-volunteer team. We are at 301 Washington Street in Haverhill in the Mount Washington neighborhood, 7,000 residents, over 50% immigrants. We focus on 3 things: English as a second language training, computer training, and also workforce development and job fairs. And we're all about connecting people to opportunities. It's not just about what we do, but it's also a big part is about how we do it. And so by that, what I mean is that we put a high value on listening, having empathy and compassion for the residents, building that trust, and really meeting people where they are in their life journey. There is no other organization in Haverhill that does what we do, and for that reason, we feel that we're well positioned to implement this program. And the program, if I can get to the next slide. Come on. Can you just move me to the next slide, Seth? Thank you. Our program is twofold. So on the right is the Affordable Conductivity Program, which is about having a digital ambassador. This is somebody that we would hire that would go into the community, provide information sessions, do marketing, social media outreach, and also hold workshops where people could be educated about the programs, but then also be able to sign up on the spot and start to benefit from the ACP. The other thing, which is more of a hook, so the piece on the left side here, is we want to open up a park-like space in this narrow area next to our building at 301 Washington. We want to have picnic tables, we have internet access there, we'll have lights, we'll have security cameras, and my time is up. Okay. And if you have a question about the financials, I can answer that.
All right, judges, you have 5 minutes.
That was a great presentation. Thank you. Very needed. So I guess since you called up finances, tell us if you won funding today, how that financing would be spent.
Absolutely. So maybe I can use can you go to the next slide for me? So we have looked closely at the finances, and what we want to do with the Affordable Connectivity Program is start first with a pilot, where we would hire a contractor for $25,000 for a 4 to 6 month pilot, okay? We learn from that pilot, figure out what's the best way to approach it, and then have a plan to run a full-time program, about $75,000 a year, a little bit, $5,000 more in additional computing equipment. So that would be the Digital Ambassador Program. On the outdoor hotspot, we've gotten quotes. We know it's about a $31,000 project. We get that funding. We can implement it in 2 to 3 months. So.
And would you start off by funding the outdoor hotspot first or the ambassador first?
We're going to do both.
Or both?
We're going to do both, yeah. So for the prize money, and there's some other grant support that we're going to get, we're going to do the outdoor hotspot for sure. We're working on some funding for what's on the right here. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You showed the 25 megabit speed relating to the 100. Is that up to 100? And you mentioned that it was 25 in January. Is it measured to be higher now? Is that a risk in your mind? And how do you navigate that?
So I maybe wasn't clear enough on that, but during the pandemic, so this Internet Essentials program has existed for a long time. And when the emergency broadband benefit came out, which is the predecessor of the ACP, it provided funding up to $50 actually. And the only program that Comcast offered, Haverhill is only Comcast. The only program that Comcast offered was Internet Essentials that was less than $50. And that program at the time was only 25 megabits. Just as of January, they have upped it to 100. I've heard that those that are getting on there are getting, satisfactory speeds from that. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So just a question, I know you do other programming, and you've chosen really, I'm reading into it. You have an adoption, right? It's an adoption problem. Why did you focus there and not just look about expanding something additionally for the programs that you already run?
So we are expanding the programs that we already run. It's just that I haven't mentioned it as part of this pitch. But as part of the partnership with Tech Goes Home, with ECCF, we are expanding our computer training. So we started this last summer, or fall, and we're up to 50 students, and we're going to keep adding more and more classes. We've got the basics class, we're adding the business skills class, and we're probably going to add some more classes. Our target is to get to 150 students that are covered over the next 2 to 3 years. And I think we can do better than that, actually. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have time. I'm going to ask you a question that's off topic from your presentation. Can you tell us why your team invests in this demographic, in that community?
Because we see the need. There's quite a few of those volunteers that live in that neighborhood. In fact, they all do. except for me and Christine. Personally, I do it because I feel I can bring some leadership and technology insight to help. And there isn't a lot that's required to create big results, and that's really meaningful.
Looking further into your budget, I see that you have allocated funds for picnic tables and different furniture. Have you tried approaching different businesses to see if they'd be willing to donate some of this equipment?
Probably haven't explored that as deeply as we could, but that's a great idea. Yeah, thank you for the suggestion.
You're welcome. I think a lot of companies might be willing to help,
Yep.
and then you can put the funding towards additional stuff.
Yep, thank you. Yep, yep. Anything else? So with that, I'll just say thank you all for your time and for listening. All right.
Thank you, Make It Haverhill. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, earlier I was introduced as the Executive Director of E4 para Todos, Merrimack Valley. And you're probably thinking, whew, that's quite the name. Imagine the acronym in the social media handles. So you're probably also wondering, I have not heard about E4 Merrimack Valley. I'm going to explain to you why that is. So when E4 began its concept many years ago, over 10 years ago, the very first E4 site started in Lowell, Massachusetts, and the very first Spanish program started in Lawrence, Massachusetts. We are a national entrepreneurship organization, and as we grow, we continuously have to look to how do we expand our services and programs to the many entrepreneurs that are out there. Well, so Lowell and Lawrence have joined forces to become one, and that's why now we're known as E for All, E para Todos, Merrimack Valley, offering programs in both English and Spanish. So yes, 2 for 1 right there. And let's move on to the next slide. So I wanted to share just a little bit about the organization if you've not heard about us before. And I have actually one of my Leadership Advisory Board members here today, Tom O'Donnell, back there. So just in case, you can also ask him some questions as well. So EFRAL, what do we do? As an entrepreneurship organization, what we do is we work with entrepreneurs to help them launch or start up their business. And here's the best part. Let's move to the next slide. Here's the best part about EFRAL. I want you to ask me, what's the best part, Sofan? What's the best part? It costs nothing. Now, you're probably saying, there's a catch somewhere. There's always an asterisk somewhere in the bottom. No. E for All is a nonprofit organization, so that means all the programs and services we offer cost nothing to our entrepreneurs, and that's because we also have amazing partnerships and supporters from many foundations and corporate sponsors out there. So, we are looking to add more folks to our Summer 2022 Accelerator, our program both in English and Spanish. So if you know someone that's thinking, I could really use this accelerator so that I can learn how to start my own business or nonprofit, then you should head on over to efraud.org and apply to our Summer Accelerator, again, both English and Spanish, and the deadline's May 12th. And matter of fact, we have 2 of our EFRAL alums right here in this room, Miss Raja from Avisaware. She started her business when she was in college at UMass Lowell. Talk about ambitious, right? I'm like, sheesh, I was just focusing on my internship, and you're starting up a company. We also have Susu Wong from Tomo 360 right back there, who's one of the sponsors for this evening. So we've been doing this for quite some time now. The Business Accelerator has been in existence since 2012. Since then, E4All, as a national organization, we have launched over 700 businesses. Out of that number, 72% are women-owned, 70% are BIPOC, that's Black, Indigenous, people of color, 39% are immigrant-owned, and 38% are folks who were previously unemployed. And we work with all different types of businesses, from your traditional brick-and-mortar, retail, to tech, to manufacturing, to even nonprofit. So really, we can work with almost anyone. So our Business Accelerator will help you really prepare for that. If we can go on to the next slide, please. So, Apply ASAP. Deadline is coming up May 12th. And Ren is also here, our program manager for the English program. So if you have any questions about it, you can contact Ren. Ren will be your POC, your primary point of contact. You should also be super nice to her. Let's move on to the next slide. So again, we're here to help. So if anyone has any questions, either go onto the website or ask myself, Ren, or even Mr. Tom O'Donnell, and we'll answer the questions for you. All right. Let's move on to the next slide.
So Fawn, if I may, for a quick second.
Of course, Raja.
Every single entrepreneur in the room, I cannot tell you how amazing A4L was for my company. My company would not be where it is today if we had not attended the A4L Accelerator. So I really hope you apply. It changed my life, and it could change yours as well. Thank you so Fawn.
You're welcome. And now your company has expanded. You're now partnered up with ADT, correct?
We made that announcement today. We actually expanded our global presence, and we signed a major distribution deal with ADT Security and ADT Canada.
Awesome. Look at that. That's awesome. And if you don't know, Invisaware provides amazing jewelry pieces with a built-in panic button. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, our third presentation for this evening, because I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, I need to hear more. And judges, I know you want to hear more as well, right, judges? Yes. All right, Beth is like, I'm ready to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Cad Spark Llc.
Thank you, Sofan, for the introduction. I'm just going to say next for every slide. So next. So my name is Jonathan Aguilar. I am a project manager for Cad Spark, and this project that we're working on is addressing the lack of education and training in additive manufacturing, which is 3D printing, one of the digital technology. Next. So what is the problem? The problem is that there are these machines in factory floors, and people don't know how to use it. And that's because there's lack of training in digital manufacturing technologies. Companies are spending a lot of money just training people how to use 3D printers. And that's because it's difficult to teach someone how to customize for 3D printing in the industry, K through 12, and even higher education. Next. And according to Market and Markets, education for 3D printing is actually one of the fastest growing industry in 3D printing. And that's because 3D printing is used in the education industry up to aerospace and defense. And that's because with 3D printing, you can work with several materials like plastic, metal parts, even ceramics. And some of the applications that they use these parts for could be quick prototyping or research and development at the universities. And we're not the only one addressing this. Cverse is trying to fill that design gap skills in the industry, but there needs to be a better way to educate people how to use these digital manufacturing technologies. Next. And I'm not the only one talking about this. During our interviews, we did over 100 of them. And this is what someone in the university field for 5 years, I'm going to read what this person said. So the present challenge with 3D printing is design level. We need ways to educate people about 3D printing and how to design for it. Next. So what we're creating is a student internship program where we can actually teach students how to design specifically for 3D printing. And as you can see in the picture, there's an orange part which requires design skills, not specifically for the parts, but to put it in a machine. And these machines use a digital language, which is very necessary right now in the field. And the reason to design for 3D printing is because if you ever had an idea and you want to make your part tomorrow, you're going to be concerned about 3 things. Cost, how fast can you get that part, and is it going to work or is it going to break? So designing for it is really one of the opportunities that we're trying to fill now. Next. And through this student internship program, they'll develop design for 3D printing skills. develop the problem solving, and professional development through several workshops that we're planning on setting up with Haverhill high school students, where they can learn about this technology as well. Next. So the program that we're coming up with is a 10-week summer internship from May 30 to August 5th, which is focused on really giving these student internship opportunity over the summer in connection with the iHub, Haverhill High, and Makerspace. Next. And our resources that we have right now is our strategic partnership with Forge and Difference Maker, E4All, where they have a lot of people who have great ideas, and we're trying to help them get their ideas out in the world. And we need to pay our student interns somehow, and we're looking to find the funding to pay our interns and create this program. Next. Thank you, everyone, for listening and for your time. I'm open for questions from the judges.
Thank you very much, and for the time and effort into the application as well. How many interns, how many paid interns are you looking for? I might have missed it, so just what's the number?
For this opportunity here would be a stipend for a single student, and we're looking to create other internship opportunities for other students around the area as well.
Okay, thanks. And then,
you're welcome.
What does, I guess, the question about for this intern, for this investment in this intern, what does success look like at the end of the 3-month internship to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the success stories from the intern would be that I feel confident that I can design for 3D printing. I have these skill sets that otherwise I wouldn't had before. And now I can go on and get new opportunities in the manufacturing field or even science.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Quick question. Look 2 years down the road. What sort of salary range would someone who's completed your program be looking at?
Salary range, an internship like full-time internship will probably, I don't have the numbers from the top of my head right now, but I'm looking probably $50,000 for the whole year. But this is a summer program, and I think a small stipend will definitely do it.
Can you 3D print a laptop?
Absolutely.
Let's figure that out. So if you do receive funding and you do roll this out and everything goes according to plan and you achieve success, is it something that you think could be rolled out at other educational institutions with other E4Alls, with other locations who are thinking about how this can grow beyond? And frankly, what would be some of the proof points that you would look to really solve for? And I agree, I think looking forward, the benefit of how it will tangibly impact that individual in the future is relevant and important, but it's going to take some time to really figure that out and flesh it out. So in the short term, how do you define success and how could that grow?
Yeah, definitely that's something that I can't do just by myself. It's a team effort, and by having this intern on our team would really help us do an outreach program, trying to reach high schools, local manufacturers, and try to create those relationships that are needed to scale up and keep learning. You're welcome.
I know you're looking for a paid intern, but would you also consider maybe some volunteers from UMass Lowell's mechanical engineering department who are simply looking to do this to show experience on their resume? That's my first part of the question. The second part of the question is, what are you using to teach them? I know I've heard of simple tools like, I believe it's called SketchUp, where you can use to 3D print shapes very simply. So I wanted to get a little bit of a better understanding for that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So to answer your first question, definitely volunteering. It's something I've done myself since I haven't paid myself a single dollar since I started the company. But volunteering from others who are enthusiastic, just like me, about making a change, I would definitely welcome that. And for your second question, really, it's creating tools, right? There's tools out there, and that's something that we at Cad Spark are creating. It's design tools that are going to help people who don't have access to expensive 3D modeling software. If you have a Chromebook at home, you can just open up your Chromebook, do a sketch, send it to us, and we'll take and walk you through the journey of designing for 3D printing.
Did you guys present at the UMassel Difference Maker competition in the fall?
Yep, my team and I were
remember
there.
you.
Yep. Great resource.
Quickly, you said Chromebooks. Was there a particular reason why you utilized a Chromebook versus a PC?
Yep. So Chromebooks are really just another tool that you can access the internet with. Not only Chromebooks, but you can use your smartphone. You can use a tablet. So any device that connects to the internet, it's something that we can help others create new ideas. So really it's not only limited to Chromebooks, but any mobile device.
And time.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are ready. I was waiting after you had finished to say, all right, judges, time for questions. He said, judges, I'm ready for your questions. I'm like, okay. All right. He was ready. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up our next presenter to share with us a little more about the Difference Maker program. So let's welcome David Batalaro.
Thank you, Sofan. I appreciate it. So the Difference Maker is a campus-wide program at the University of Massachusetts supporting all majors and disciplines, all years in school from first year to PhD. And that's really, a lot of people think it's just for undergraduates, so I like to emphasize that. We actually have a PhD team right now that's doing stuff with fertilizer. It's pretty cool. Excuse me. And all student ideas, services, products, applications, curriculum. We actually had a team win this year called U Success, and they're actually doing a curriculum idea around financial literacy. So we help the students define problems and create solutions that make a difference. And it's not, in all these areas, and we give them the resources they need to pursue the ideas and their problems. Funding, mentorship, the skill building workshops, and a working space. So we have our Difference Maker Central, which is really it's a great space for students to come down and meet. We have our co-ops down there. We have students that I work with come down there. And we work with students who may not have ideas yet but want to be involved. We actually have a team maker platform. So if you're a particular discipline and you want to be on a team, you can go to that platform and join a team. And they'll be like an interview process, just much like any other team. And here's some examples. We have Team Pengred. They did stuff with children and insulin, insulin delivery. And Team Stock to Me, basically at the Manning School of Business. What they did is they do stock information, so people can rate stock opinions of other people. So they actually keep track of those opinions and go that route. And one of the things I like to say, though, is being here, I see a lot of Difference Maker alumni in different areas. I see Tom and Stephanie have been involved in all kinds of areas, and we partner with them. I see Judge Raja over here, who's been one of our more successful alumni. Let's see, we got two recent teams right here. We got a recent team here, Team Amara, with Andrew and Brendan. Is that right? And then we have Jonathan over there. And we have a mentor, Tim, who's one of our current mentors in the program. And I'm trying to think, was there anyone I missed? No, I want to talk about Team Hoppers too, because we had the game design earlier. And Team Hoppers is actually, they're a board game developed from Difference Maker. So they're really involved in the community in all kinds of areas. And I just wanted to come out here and share the program with everybody. If there's any questions after, come and see me at networking, and thank you so much. Thank you, Sofan.
Thank you, Dave. So as Dave said, there are a lot of alums in this room, and as you can see, that's because many of us do work together. We know that it takes a village, but we are here to support our entrepreneurs. All right, so we've gone through several pitches already. Let's move on to the next slide, if you will. So next, ladies and gentlemen, we have Haverhill Public Schools. Come on up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Rubera, and I work for Haver Public Schools. Okay, so we're going to talk today about promoting healthy social media use in all schools. I think Haver Public Schools, we serve currently 8,000 students, and what we've been seeing isn't always the healthiest use of social media. And the pandemic has really catapulted that, and we see that too much social media use can lead to a wealth of problems. Some of the things can be social isolation, depression, obesity, poor self-esteem, headaches, eye strain, and aggression and cyberbullying. And that last one is the one that we really want to focus on, because that is impacting and disrupting learning for many of our students, because the aggression and the cyberbullying, it's starting at home at night on social media, and it's carrying over to schools, and it's really having a negative impact. And this happened before the pandemic, and then really after the pandemic, we've noticed quite an uptick. So what can we do about it? So the good news is that we can do something about it. We can teach them, and it's that simple, but it's that hard. And we know that when we work with children, no one way works. We really need to have a multi-pronged approach. So our approach would be introducing and monitoring healthy use so that we have a balance of digital literacy, because it's important that we're able to balance that with our literacy, but also making sure that we spend time in person with friends. We also need to be able to identify, assess, and treat our students that are really struggling with this, and we need to be able to help them and put them on a better trajectory so that they're healthy and they're thriving. And then lastly, we want to make sure that us in the academic world, that we're really looking at and monitoring these problems so that we really can come up with and develop and implement strategies that are going to work. So again, we have students that are thriving, and we have them learning, and we have them healthy. So luckily, we have some resources that we can start with, which is Natter Hub, Common Sense, and Boston Children's Hospital, the Digital Wellness Lab. And what we can do using those resources is to really come up with interactive digital lessons that will really help students be able to understand things like digital imprint, you know, the importance of what you comment on or what you put on social media will stay there, and being able to come up with those resources. We've been able to already begin this work with Boston Children's Hospital. We've had some professional development sessions to give all of our educators district-wide just some education on what we can do to help balance them. We've also done some dovetail support with our community partners to help and make sure that our families are aware of the work that we're doing and tips to help them. And then what we'd like to do is really look at what our our curriculum that we can offer students that will really make sure that we're addressing how students can learn and be healthy users of social media. Our pricing is right here, which will pretty much be with consultation with Boston Children's Hospital, the Digital Wellness Lab, and then stipends for our school and family community providers. I'd like to end with a quote from Malala, because I think this is important, and I think it sums up what we want to do. What is interesting is the power and the impact of social media, so we must try to use social media in a good way. Thank you. Questions?
That was a great presentation. Social media's impact on youth mental health has definitely been tremendously negative in the last few years. UMass's Difference Maker campus-wide competition, the company that won, actually is creating a new platform called Amara that creates a new social media that essentially addresses some of these issues. So it might be a good potential partnership opportunity for you. But I'm curious, can you give us more examples of what the students would learn? And is it simply telling them like behaviors that are good, like don't spend 4 hours? Or can you give us a little bit deeper examples as to exactly what you would teach?
Sure. So So lessons where you're telling students never go well. So that's really where you really want teachers being able to develop interactive lessons. So it's really when you design a well-designed lesson, you really want to take the content. So let's take you know, for example, your digital imprint. So anything that you post is going to stay with you forever, or there'll be access to. So we really want to be able to show that example. So you know, you spend a few minutes like teaching about it, but then you give the students really that opportunity to really look at or examine whether they're looking at some examples in carousel, like in a carousel where they rotate from stations. Maybe they come up with their own list of things that would work. Like, honestly, anytime you know, the work that we're doing would be really getting teachers, you know, a special ed teacher, an L teacher, a content area teacher, and really looking at ways to make lessons interactive, because telling is not going to work. So you really just want to make sure that those lessons are really well designed.
We're all fighting to get a question out to you.
Okay.
But again, great presentation, excellent subject, considering where we are in times. My question to you is about your monitor planning. Can you tell us how you all plan to monitor students' usage of social media? And I want to dovetail that with addressing cyberbullying through fake accounts. Has that been a conversation at all?
So I can speak to my experience and then what we do in Haverhill Public Schools. So we are able to monitor all Haverhill Public Schools devices are monitored, and I know that kids will try to get on to social media accounts that we can look. But when we also think about monitoring, it's also really educating our families. So our families are helping, you know, because we're all in this together, and the shared stakeholders are making sure that families are monitoring things healthy. So like one thing that Boston Children's Hospital recommended, for example, is having a healthy balance. So 7:30, all cell phones are plugged in a common spot, and they stay there for the night. And that's something that we can recommend for families. So that's one way that we can monitor it. You know, 7:30 p.m., 8 o'clock, whatever time it might be, we are off our devices and we're spending family time, or we're getting ready for bed, and, you know, to make sure. So when we talk about monitoring outside of the home, you know, outside of school hours, we can help families to come up with some good strategies that would work for their family so that they can have a balanced life with social media. Yeah.
And you mentioned in here that the curriculum is for all grades. It's a pretty big span with a lot of different learning styles. How in the budget that you provided is that going to work?
So what we can do, so as educators, we're used to working within the budget. Give us the budget, we'll figure it out. So K to 12, honestly, one possible way that this would most likely work out is really making sure that you have teams. We have professional learning communities. We would assemble teams, most likely grade bands, K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and then high school. And really just to make sure that you have these little teams and those teachers are working together to come up with lessons. You know, like my experience is mostly upper elementary. I would want to join that team, but there are people that, you know, you think of few people like, okay, you want them working at the middle school level, working with those kids. So PLCs with professional learning communities, where that's going to get the more bang for your buck, and really making sure that we have some high quality lessons to start off with to support the curriculum.
Perfect timing. Time is up. Thank you. Thank you, Haverhill Public Schools. You know, it's so interesting, social media, the concept of it, and the day and age that we're living in now. And I've always said that I am so glad that when I went through high school and college, we did not have cell phones like that. We had cell phones near the end if you could afford it, and back then, if you did have a cell phone, you didn't turn it on till what time? Oh, what kind of plan did you have? 9:01. It was 9:01. Remember, that's when you had the free minutes. Nights and weekends. See, these are old school folks. We know this, right, Marvin? We get it. Nowadays, it's unlimited everything. So different then. So thank you, Haverhill Public School. What a great topic. You know, in order to put an event like this together, it takes not only wonderful planning, meticulous details, great partnerships, an amazing audience, a great panel of judges, but it also takes support from sponsors. So Steph, why don't you come on up and tell us who are some of the amazing folks that we can thank for tonight?
Yes, I just wanted to take a minute to highlight some of the organizations that you've heard from so far and just make sure I gave a shout out to all of our wonderful supporters and vendors. This has been a months-long effort that we started talking about last fall, and it certainly takes a village to put on a program like this and also get the financial funding so that we can award real money to our winners tonight so that you can go ahead and start launching these projects we're pitching tonight. So first of all, Essex County Community Foundation for being the lead sponsor and the lead funder of this event. Pentucket Bank is our supporting sponsor. And then I'd also really like to thank E4All and the Risk Difference Maker Institute, two organizations that I work closely with often and have just provided so much support and staff resources and just wonderful to work with and to be able to collaborate because we all sort of see the same goal of moving things forward in our communities. And then also, we had some really amazing vendors that also made tonight possible. First is Uncommon Catalyst. Seth, behind the screen, is our tech guru, and he set up everything you see here tonight in terms of our audio and our video, allowing Emily to present virtually and making sure that we had a live stream so that our audience could watch it, and that is no small feat. So I'm very fortunate to have somebody like Seth here at the Innovation Hub, and grateful for him and Jerry and AJ and their whole company for helping us today. I'd also like to shout out to Tomo 360. Susu is here. Susu and her team were amazing in helping us with social media and marketing and creating some of our digital content to promote the challenge, to promote the event, and just all of the great design that we had came from them. And then also we have our food vendors, our Carboni's Kitchen and the Baker's Rack in Haverhill, both Haverhill women-owned businesses. Carboni's Kitchen provided all of the refreshments, and the Baker's Rack provided some really amazing cookies that are our judges' gifts tonight. So, we always try to support our local businesses as much as we can, and I would encourage you to check out all of these businesses as well. Thank you.
All right, we have 2 more presentations for the evening. I know you're thinking that's it. Only 2 more. I know, only 2 more. So let's go on to the next slide, please. All right, so let's put our hands together and welcome Aaron's Presents.
Thank you so much. I'm also an E4All alum, 2015.
Yay.
So yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you. My name is Leah Okimoto. I'm the founder and executive director of Aaron's Presents. Over the last 8.5 years, I've had the honor of serving as mentor to hundreds of kids and teens, primarily in the cities of Lowell and Lawrence. Through our program that empowers kids to discover, develop, and give their gifts for the good of their communities. Many of our mentees have had their childhoods and futures deeply impacted by factors like poverty, racism, immigration, abuse, and other trauma, and lack of quality in higher education. Our pitch tonight seeks to leverage our close mentoring relationships with our teens and young adults to address a skills gap in data-driven and mentoring relationships. And administrative computer skills. Yeah, can you just go to the next? Thanks. That discourages and disadvantages many teens and young adults from pursuing jobs and careers that often pay higher salaries. Next. A problem for many low-income and first or second-generation immigrant teens, as well as many teens of color, is a lack of social capital. Many of them do not have friends or relatives in professional or executive jobs in the corporate sector, and because they don't see it around them, there's a lot of fear and hesitation around administrative, data, or computer-centric jobs. Also, data analysis tools such as Excel are not being taught in schools, and many teens are only working on Chromebooks, and many have outdated or no devices at home at all. I won't go into all the research that underpins this project, but one quote that is directly relevant to our proposal, next. In business, literally, any function in any industry can benefit from those with strong Excel knowledge. Next, this is a very specific need where we believe Aaron's Presence has a unique opportunity to help some of our teens acquire a skill that they aren't getting anywhere else. And that's hard. So they don't know how to go about learning it. It's not something most would know that they even need. But knowing something like Excel means knowing spreadsheets, data analysis, reporting, graphs, formulas, and other shortcuts that are also transferable to working in Word, PowerPoint, and many other apps. The combination of our strong mentoring relationships and the fact that we work with 300 kids a year from Lowell and Lawrence puts us in a very unique position to make this initiative successful. Next, our proposed solution has 3 main components. To offer a 14-hour, highly rated Excel course on udemy.com that we've already tested out to our 11th and 12th grade alumni this summer, pay them a $100 stipend upon completion, plus a laptop and Office 365 if they need either of those, and provide regular individualized guidance and follow-through by our mentor team. This is a critical component. Next slide. We know this model works because in the summer, you can keep going actually to the next one, because in the summer of 2020, at the start of the pandemic, we successfully piloted this idea with 21 teens and have been looking for the funding to continue on an annual basis. You can go to the next one. And actually, these are some pictures of some of the kids' work. You can go back to resources, sorry. The resources we need are stipends, laptops, software, and the mentor time. So roughly for $750 per participant, the impacts are potentially life-changing on many levels. 1, the computer skills at an advanced level. 2, the equipment that they really need especially before graduating from high school. And 3, deeper mentoring relationships so that we can help them even more as they apply for jobs in college and move on with their lives. So the next, to end with, I just wanted you to hear directly from Ehud, an AP alum who's been with us since 7th grade from Lowell, and he participated in the Excel class in 2020. If you could play from minute 1, yep.
So that's pretty much what I've been doing when it comes to the city. Well, now here at Paul Quinn, the president, I'm entering with the president of the school, Michael Sorrell. He's really a great guy. He's like, and a reason why I got the job is because I knew how to like file stuff. He said like no one knew how to like do anything with Excel. No one's like proficient in Excel. So having that experience with Aaron's Presence really affected me too. So I was really good with Excel, and I know how to like organize stuff, and he really needs that because he's a busy man. So getting to, shadow him and like understand like how it is to be successful in the world and, stuff like that. And he's taking me out.
Time is up.
I had to speak at a conference with a lot of people the other day.
Thank you so much. You can go to the next. Actually, you can leave it on the 2 slides.
Go ahead, judges.
The very last one.
Great job. This Excel in particular is, it can be frustrating and challenging, and there are a lot of people all across various industries who don't really know how to work Excel, and being able to do so is an incredible value add at all levels. So I think you're really onto something here that can really make a tangible difference in competitiveness when somebody enters the job market. My quick question is regarding, as I understand this, is this a tiered mentorship program where the graduates are going to be getting paid an hourly wage to mentor the folks who are going through it?
No, we have a team of paid adult mentors, and So our core program is we do community projects with kids starting in 8th grade and below, so mostly middle school kids. But then as they get older and they move into high school, then we have a program we call Agents of Change. And that's where we offer more extension opportunities to them, like college counseling and classes and summer programs, things like that. We're sending 70 kids to camps and summer programs this summer. And we've been doing a lot more individualized college counseling. So our oldest kids now are sophomores in college. And so we've just, kind of grown with the needs that we see.
Are there business leaders that you've spoke with specifically for the Excel portion to act as mentors and possibly a funnel to recruit some graduates of the program?
Yeah, we haven't really had the time to do that in an organized way, but we definitely have people in the community who have been willing to tutor and help kids who are having trouble, and we've also been there for them, as they have questions. But the course is self-guided, and it's actually been it's a really good course. It's very step-by-step, and the kids they get into macros, and they get into pretty advanced stuff, so it's cool.
I'd like to hire one of them. I could use some help. Just a question around, it's udemy.com, correct? So how are you handling any students who don't have digital access? You're talking about giving them the devices that they might need if they need it, but what about the access piece?
We haven't come across too many families that like the cross-section, the kids who are interested and then the kids who don't have internet. I feel like most of our kids have some sort of access through a hotspot. I know sometimes they have trouble with the hotspots that the school has given them, things like that. But for the most part, I think all the kids who wanted to do the Excel class had internet access.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for all the work you're doing. And obviously, the detail in this space is very essential. My question is, if you, $750 is your going rate per student. If you were given $200 more per student, what could you do with that?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I would try to add on more courses for some kids who are interested in more. For instance, there's another beginner to advanced course in Word and PowerPoint, and I really feel like if they can become experts in the whole Office suite, or if they're going into graphic design or they're going into something else more specific, they could do something like that as well. But I feel like if they were able to really master some of these applications, they could be so useful as interns. And they, like Ehud, he really set himself apart, with these skills. So I would probably start with maybe adding some courses if I had some extra money.
I think the laptops are going to be very handy for the students. I'll ask you a similar question that I asked to another team earlier. Have you tried approaching different corporations to see if maybe they can donate some laptops? Or I know sometimes companies get more laptops than they need and then have older ones available. So maybe someone would be willing to donate some and you can add additional students.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we will put out there to our community and see if anybody. We occasionally do get donations of laptops, but I think because these are kids that are, many of them are going on to college. I want them to have a good laptop, and these aren't like the best laptops. They're about $500, but we've been able to get really pretty decent laptops at Best Buy, or so I think approaching a place like Best Buy or Microsoft, I know that they do have programs for donation, so that's something that we could definitely do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that you're an E4All alum. And since you're an E4All alum, I can certainly use some of those students who are proficient in Excel. Send them my way when I have to do the budgeting. They can take care of that for me. Just don't tell my board. You didn't hear this, Tom, okay? You didn't hear it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to our final presentation for the evening, I certainly don't want to end the party early, but we are the gift that keeps on giving. So I want to share with you, or more so, I'm going to have Stephanie come on up and tell you some upcoming events that we should all be aware about so that we can share it with our friends and family in the community as well. So Steph, come on up.
My last commercial pitch of the evening, I swear. Just a quick little bit about the UMass Lowell Innovation Hub. If you don't know, the site here in Haverhill is one of 2 innovation hubs by UMass Lowell. Our other is right downtown Lowell at 110 Canal Street. Together, we serve over 50 startup companies and entrepreneurs by providing them space for their office and co-working space, access to a prototyping lab, fabrication, programming, and events like this, and just really building a community. As I think you've heard, just the sense of the community that we've created with our partnership organizations, the work with our students through Difference Maker. It's really this pipeline and really exciting entrepreneurial ecosystem that thrives from Lowell to Haverhill and beyond. So we're really excited to be part of that. Couple things that we do often, we do lunch and learns, we do events like this. Obviously, we've been on Zoom for a really, really long time, and we're slowly easing our way back into it. This was a big step, right? This is a really big event with a lot of people, which is really exciting. So we have our next lunch and learn is called Tackling the Turnover Tsunami, and we're going to be looking at hiring and retaining employees. So certainly all of our business owners can agree with that challenge right now. And then my colleagues down at the Lowell iHub actually having a sensor challenge pitch off in a couple weeks where they solicited ideas from startups that are creating sensor devices. So that's going to be a really exciting event. And you can find all of this stuff at uml.edu/iHub. Thank you.
Let's go to the next slide. All right, our last and final presentation for the evening. All right, so presenters, when you come on up, just let our IT guru just say next for the next slide to keep it easier for you. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big round of applause for City of Lynn. Is this one on? Is this the other microphone that we should, oh, it's on. All right, there you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Next slide, please. So my name is Chris Gomez, and this is my colleague, Tanya Freeman. Next slide. So we have a combined experience of over 35 years working with the seniors of Lynn. And we really noticed a big problem with digital equity and access with the seniors of Lynn. Being first-generation immigrants, oftentimes we get called from our grandparents, our mom, our dad. Mira, mijo, no puedo hacer esto. A lot of things, and they just don't really know how to access the internet or use things. So Lynn is predominantly 60% minorities, with a main focus, and mostly people are Dominican in the city. So I often get calls from my friends' grandparents, everyone, for just some help. So we want to kind of bridge the gap, especially during the pandemic. We noticed, it became worse because everyone's stuck at home. They have nowhere to go, and without a way to access anyone, you might become depressed, and a lot of health problems come from that. Next slide, please. No, yeah. So Lynn, we have a very sizable senior population, about 16,000. Our total population is about 120,000, so it's a little bit less than 10%. And we also have 3 senior housing development projects in Lynn that are going to be groundbreaking, and we're going to provide 4,000 more senior housing units for potential new Lynners to come, and we have a big growing Afghan refugee population growing as well, with a lot of them being seniors. So we hope to tap into that as well. And so as you can see, 61.9% report using internet the last month, and 33.5% of them live alone, which is a big deal because if you don't know how to use something, you don't have someone directly with you. You don't have someone to help you, really. And 64.1% only speaking English, while the state average is 83.3%, which also causes a divide because how the English, not speaking English as a first language can be, can be rather hard to find help I'm sorry. And the other opportunity we have is that there's no other programs in the city that are currently doing this and focusing on seniors. And we didn't have a senior center in Lynn for 3 years. We're in the process of opening one. We actually got the keys this week. So this is big for our community. Everyone's really excited. We get over 100 calls a day for people waiting to go to this new thing. And we're going to build a state-of-the-art computer lounge. And we're going to do a lot of great programming. So the community is really behind us, and we're really excited. And a grant like this could help us with some of our programming. So with that, next slide.
So I will be speaking on the solution for the digital equity for Lynn seniors. We are taking a symbiotic approach to this to help connect older students in Lynn, older adults in Lynn through partnerships that can be replicated across Essex County and throughout Massachusetts. The Lynn Council of Aging is partnering with Lynn Public Schools and our public library, Greater Lynn Senior Services, and other, including Mass Law Reform Institute. As Chris noted, our new senior center will come equipped. We're hoping to have a specific location to set up like a computer lab. We are also looking at taking a community approach to this, to have the affordable connectivity program by mailing both in English and Spanish, have student volunteers who will provide tech office hours. This is part of the symbiotic exchange that we're hoping to have. It was not only the youth that suffered through the pandemic, it was the seniors as well. So this is an opportunity to bridge that gap and have that learning take place, hopefully on both ends, but using the technology as the tool. This is not on the slide, but this is just a side note. There are studies indicating that there is still plasticity in the brain, even if you are 60 and plus.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for caring about this community, this demographic particularly. One question I have is around your digital training model. Can you speak to that a little bit about what your curriculum will look like to advance seniors?
So we hope to make it an intergenerational programming. So partnering with the Lynn Public Schools, we would have the kids come in initially. We'll train them ourselves, and then they would come in and they'd be able to train the seniors on how to use the internet, how to access, Zoom and any other internet things they can't really get to, and using iPads and other devices as well. And then as our center grows, we'll have our own staff be training and be able to do it to continue the program going forward.
Thank you.
Are you aware of some curriculum that might already be out there that you could plug and play? Or are you developing the curriculum on your own?
No, there is a curriculum already in play.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely a huge problem. My grandmother is a senior, and a few years ago, she didn't even know how to access Google, and now she's FaceTiming her grandchildren every other hour. So training goes a long way. I guess my question would be, how do you plan to assist individuals that may not have English speaking capabilities? So my grandmother, for example, does not speak English. So how do you plan to teach seniors who may have that difficulty?
So we have the blessing, I speak multiple languages. My colleague Tanya speaks multiple languages as well. And then for the city, we have translators in City Hall that speak Khmer, Arabic, French. Yeah, and I speak Spanish, and she speaks Haitian Creole. So we have a wide array of languages that we all speak.
I think you've identified a unique opportunity to pair two populations in students and the elderly within the community in a way that's mutually beneficial. Really also to students, and they'll have success and experience teaching people and seeing, it's when somebody gets something, especially something as valuable as connectivity, it's unique. Pertaining to the curriculum, do you imagine it being a sort of, teach somebody to fish and just give them a broad overview, or targeted by, say, Zoom, FaceTime, Google, and certain services, telehealth, things that are more broad that they can use as tools, or sort of individually designed for their needs?
I think we would start individually, designed to their needs, and then as they get more comfortable, we'd broaden it. But we want to focus, on the primary needs, which are more important. And then after a while, then we'd broaden them, and they'd be able to learn more and spread their wings, per se.
If I may add to that, I think it's also important to meet the seniors where they are and find out their baseline first of even knowing where the on button is and taking it from there. And I think in having that exchange, we'll understand their language literacy for tech, and then we'll take it from there and cater it to them.
You mentioned that there were a few new senior living facilities being built, correct?
Yes.
How are you engaging with those developers, owners, managers to help you in this endeavor?
So each of the new senior housing sites, they're going to have satellite senior center rooms or spaces, per se. So we will have, they're all spread out kind of in Lynn in different corners. So we'll have satellite senior center sites in each of those areas, which we could specifically meet the needs of the people in that site or that community as well.
We also will be generating a newsletter, a mailing newsletter, so any opportunity we have to insert in the pamphlet, we will do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, City of Lynn. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our 6 amazing presentations for this evening. How do they do? I am so impressed on the many various topics that we covered tonight and the different communities' needs and concerns. To me, that was very impressive. So thank you to our presenters this evening. That was amazing. So now it is time for the judges' deliberation. So judges, you are going to follow Steph and Kate to the Bradford room. We're going to take them to a secret room because we cannot hear what they're going to deliberate on. This is serious stuff, ladies and gentlemen. But while they do that, Ren, come on up here and tell us what we're going to do with our audience. But first, let's let the judges leave so they don't hear the fun things that we get to do without them here.
Hello, everybody. So I hope you were paying attention the whole time because this is when we need your participation. You will be taking over the judge's job at this very moment. Now, the fan favorite, as you know, you will help us select it. We're going to have a live view of who you will be voting on. Now, Sofan, why don't you tell us what the fan favorite will be receiving tonight?
Ooh, that's a good question. And I'm such a bad MC that the number just escapes me. That's because I just had a chocolate eclair too, so I'm on a sugar high right now. I believe, don't quote me, I believe it is 500, okay? So, but tell us, Ren, first, what do you mean by fan favorite? I thought the judges were the only ones that were supposed to be judging and selecting winners tonight. What do you mean by fan favorite?
Well, what I mean by fan favorite is who you thought did the best tonight. In your opinion, who did fantastic? Who should get the prize tonight? So, we're gonna vote on that.
Let's go to the next slide. And this would be also for the folks that are watching at home in the comfort, again, of your living room, your kitchen, if you're having dinner. You can also join us in this as well. It's full participation, in person and virtual. So tell us, how do we do this, Ren?
All right, we all have phones tonight here,
Let's take out your phones.
Let's take them
Let's
out.
see them phones. I know you have it because I certainly have been taking pictures because I'll be showing this on social media. So let's everyone take their phones out. We got it?
Yes.
Everyone in the back? That's right. All right. Everyone got their phones? All right, Ren, what's next?
Now go ahead, open up that text message app, and what you are going to do is text you're going to enter 22333, and you're going to text E for all to that number.
So in the message, in the send, it's 22333, and the message is E for all.
Yes.
All right, got it.
All right, I will give everyone a second to do that. And if we can go to the next slide.
Next slide.
All right, so once you text E for all to that number, you are going to receive a text message that says that you have joined David Parker's session. Now, you may not know who David Parker is, but that is our CEO.
He's the one who signs our checks.
Yes, and no worries, you're not going to get any spam text messages. You're not signing up for no marketing or any of that. But why don't we go ahead and go to the next slide?
So are we all there? Just want to make sure everyone got that message so far. We're good? All right.
Okay, so we should have a series of letters here.
Maybe next slide?
What happens if we go to the next slide?
Oh,
Okay,
no, go
let's
back.
go back.
Our numbers disappeared.
All right, so it should be letters. So this one's going to be A, B, C, D, forgot my alphabet, E, and F.
You were thinking in Spanish. I got you, right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, so what you're going to do here, these are all the presentations that you heard this evening. So you're going to text, according to the letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, which one is your favorite? So you just put that letter in and hit send. So A for I Hub Game Studio, B for Make It Haverhill, C for Cad Spark, D for Haverhill Public School, E for Aaron's Presence, and F for City of Lynn. Is it not? We should see the poll come up. Let's see. Let's head over to the tech.
Usually there's an app that gets installed.
Yeah, what I can do is I can just log into Poll Everywhere. So if we go into polleverywhere.com, awesome. Now, let's not use our account here, guys. Close your eyes.
We're breaching security here. Do not look. We're having a technical difficulty, so Ren is going to just log on in, and we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. So our apologies. So typically when we use this polling system, we use it on a presentation that shows up, but because we're using Google, for some reason it is not showing up. So we're going to now do it the old-fashioned way. But get your answers in if you haven't already. All right, Ren, let's see. Does this look right, Ren, to you? Is this it, the slide?
That is the slide that we were supposed to be seeing the whole time.
All right, so Ren, tell us what we got here.
All right, so it looks like
a fan favorite.
Our fan favorite for the night is Okay.
Who changed the game on us? See,
that was a plot
Someone decided to add drama to the evening, okay. Maybe the audience at home are still voting, so now we're neck and neck with Haverhill Public Schools and Aaron's Presence. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, who's going to break the tie?
Who's going to break the tie? City of Lynn just changed. It went down, okay.
Okay.
Haverhill Public School is in the lead. Ladies and gentlemen, is in the lead right now. HPS. 33%. Get your votes on at home. You can only vote once, right, Ren?
Yeah, just once.
Yeah, you can only vote once, so no cheating, Haverhill Public School. Not that you are. Okay, let's see.
I don't know.
It's a close one. Oh, it just changed again. Right now, the two that are neck and neck are Haverhill Public School and Aaron's Presence. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it changed again. Aaron's Presence. Oh, my God, this is nerve-wracking. Good grief. Whew. Are you sweating at home? I'm sweating right now, like, whoo. Oh, it's changing. The poll is changing. The people at home, that's what it is. They're voting at home right now. 2,000 students are online. Hey, the Haverhill Public School students are like, we're getting our vote on because, they have the power of text message.
It's like, this is going to benefit us.
Exactly. See, you didn't know about this. Had you known, you would have texted your family and friends. Like, I told you, we're going to keep it interesting for you this evening. See that? All right. When should we close the poll, Ren?
I'll give it 1 more minute.
1 more minute. Should we do a countdown?
Yeah, let's do a countdown from 10.
All right, let's do a countdown in about 5 seconds. 1, 2. All right, are we ready? Let's do the countdown all together. We're all about participation. Okay, ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen! Woo! Who's the winner, Ren? Tell us who's the winner.
It is Haverhill Public School.
Woo-hoo! Haverhill Public School. All right, there you go, fan favorite.
Where's our check at?
We're going to, it's over there. Okay. Ren is going to very quickly write on this check. While she does that, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to grab some more refreshments. And then we're going to have Haverhill Public School come up here, receive a check to take a fantastic photo. Oh, there you go, Haverhill Public School. Come on up. When we said it's a big check, we really mean it's a big check. Come on this side. Here, let me be in the middle.
Go ahead.
In the middle. Okay, we're going to give it to you. This. Oh, yeah. There we go. It's all about them. It's all about them.
I'm blocking the...
Thank you.
Wow, it was double of what we said.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, while we wait for the judges to deliberate, please feel free to grab some more refreshments. Stephanie did bring out some grand desserts back there.
All right, I think we are ready to announce our winners. Congrats to our fan favorite, Haverhill Public Schools. That's very exciting. Any of the judges want to come up here for a photo op? Sofan, come on up. Oh, that's great. So first up in third place is the City of Lynn. The judges, some of the judges' comments was that they loved the intergenerational model, that there was a lot of benefit from these groups learning from each other, and that there's going to be a lot of new activity and education happening out of their new space. It was much more economical to only buy one big check than to buy three, and it's a whiteboard. So we're going to wipe it off. We're going to put our second place prize on it. So I'm just going to stall for a minute. Our second place winner, the judges really liked that it involves career readiness with a mix of digital resources. It has the potential for tremendous long-term impact. Involve the use of mentors and a strong business development for youth. And our second prize winner is Aaron's Presents. All right, and we're going to do the quick change again for our first prize. Oh yeah, will you change the bottom too to say 5,000?
We need a drum roll after I finish that one.
Yes, the drum roll for the big. Yeah, we can do it after. We can redo it after. That's fine.
All right, shall we do a drum roll?
So,
What is
first
the
of all,
first place, the prize? What's the prize? Tell us.
the prize is $5,000. So thanks again to Essex County Community Foundation, whose funding supported this prize money to help everybody launch these projects. And while we're waiting, again, I just want to say thank you to everybody. The presentations were amazing. All of the ideas have so much value, and even if you don't win today, please keep in contact with us, with me, with Sofan, with ECCF, with Tech Goes Home. There's opportunities to fund these projects in other ways. There's opportunities to make new connections. There's a lot happening in this area, and this is definitely, as I think Cade or Sofan said in the beginning, this is just the beginning. This is not an end. This isn't this is just the start of this effort. So there's a lot of potential here. All right, drum roll. So some of the judges' comments was that they thought the presenter did a phenomenal job. They showed a clear-cut plan and an evolution where they saw the problem and had a gap and a way to fill the gap. And our first place winner is Make It Haverhill. So again, thank you all. I think we're still live streaming, but thank you all for being here. I really enjoyed this presentation, and we will see you all soon.